Very good morning. Welcome, guys. In the currency market, there's one standout, a really good introduction into how to trade FX 101. The Aussie dollar is the strongest currency of the day. The reason is very simple. If you look at the macro positioning on interest rates, right? Look what markets were expecting for the RBA meeting last night. They were expecting a interest rate cut, right? 95% chance of a cut. Yeah, exactly, Brett. But the RBA did not cut, right? And because they didn't cut, markets are surprised. The Australian dollar's risen. And if you look at the calendar, you can see that the expectations was for an interest rate cut. So this is a good example. Interest rate cut expectations from analysts, interest rate cut expectations from short-term interest rate markets. So when they don't cut, it's a surprise. So remember that basics. What's the surprise? What's the big picture? And does it change the big picture? No, it doesn't, right? So that's what's giving us that Aussie buy bias, and the yen is weak on the US 10-year yields. So that's what's going on there. Let me pop something in the, right. No, I can't do it, right. Brennan, I have done that sentiment tool, how to use it, and it should be up on the Financial Source website shortly. So just look out for it, Brennan. And if you don't get it, let me know and I'll send it to you personally, okay? So with the move higher in yields as well, if you take a look at yields.
Just making you aware, geopolitics via Al Jazeera, the Iranian assistant foreign minister says in the past few days, we have received messages from the Americans indicating their desire to return to negotiations.
Right. You've got US 10-year yields picking up, and that's weakening the yen. So that gives us that very clear and obvious Aussie yen buy bias. Again, like on the 5-minute, if you were around early in the session, it's a kind of clear sort of flag pattern scenario. Flagpole, pull back, go with the break, right? Looking for a move up to about 96 wouldn't be unreasonable at the R3 pivot point. Any drops down to the R2 or the 95.30 is absolutely fine, right? So that's Aussie yen FX buy bias. Silver, still buy bias remains, right? Had a little bit of a pullback yesterday. That dip's been bought and continue to look for upside in silver. You can also look at the sentiment for silver is very strong. You got one of the strongest periods of the year is July for silver. And you can see hedge funds are building their long positions. Open interest, look, it's not in stretch territory yet, and long hedge funds positions have been building up. So just looks like a nice pullback, ready for fresh longs to load up. So that's fine for silver longs. My night trade, I'm just trailing this now on the daily chart. So I'm looking to see if I can get up to 84, but I'm just trading my stop in now to 75.34. So I'm there with 75.90 roughly is my stop. See if I can get up to 84, but that's like very simple flag pattern, breakout on volume confirmation, went along with that. Looking as well at Oracle, looks quite interesting. Let's see if I can find it here. I like the look of Oracle. They've got a huge cloud deal, and I'm looking for a potential break of this flag pattern, looking for a run up from here, get a break on volume with on balance volume moving higher.
And of note for agricultural names, US Agricultural Secretary Rowland says the USDA will curb farmland purchases by foreign adversaries, including China.
Up to 245. That's what I'm looking for on this. So I'll look at that. Now, in terms of the big macro picture, markets are pretty happy. Trump has said he's going to be flexible on the tariffs. It's the catchphrase for Trump always chickens out. So the tariffs are pushed to the 1st of August. That's apparently a hard deadline, but he's open to negotiations. So markets are looking at it and saying, do you know what? Trump's going to get the deal done. He might take a long time, might delay, but it will be done. So we're seeing sentiment positive, volatility lower, stocks up. That's the current environment. And notice I was looking at the positioning for the S&P 500. It's pretty good, really. looking at the hedge funds, they've been really short, right? Commercials have been hedging those shorts. You look at the short position, it's strong, and you look at the stretch short positioning, it kind of just thinks, well, this is a great place for a turnaround. It kind of feels like we're at the extreme of the negativity. So looking for further upside makes sense for me in the S&P 500, with hedge funds stretched to the downside, the short positioning stretch to the downside, and the open interest stretch to the downside. But actually, if we can get through this, it's not like the big macro picture has changed. And I was looking at a report from, who was it? Yeah, sell side. They raised their SPX targets. Goldman Sachs and Bank of America lift their S&P 500 targets. And they're saying, okay, the Fed's going to be cutting, lower bond yields than they previously expected, continued fundamental strength of the largest stocks, and investors' willingness to look through near-term earnings weakness, all supporting the S&P 500. So I think, there could be a little bit of a bullish mood around. Now, looking at the data carefully and looking at the delta today, we see here, look, sellers did manage to trap some buyers up there on the daily chart. So we've got to be conscious of a bit of a turnaround with that selling. You got Harami inside bar, break of a Harami inside bar, and that's potentially a nice area for shorts. So at some point you could see shorts come in here. Just be aware of that. On the day, the delta is positive. So we can see we're 5,000 contracts up, but we're in this kind of consolidation area. And on the weekly chart, you got this value area below, you got a slight value area above. There isn't really anyone trapped at this stage. And on the 15-minute chart, you can see we've moved up to that value area at the 6283, which is a retest of those lows. And we've bounced from this value area high in between. So we're kind of in between value areas at the moment. We want to see us break out of here and move somewhere obvious and strong. Looking at this region here, you've got some sellers getting trapped at that value area. So at the open, I would happily buy off the 6277 and see if we can move down and bounce up to that 6284 or thereabouts. So for me, I'm happy to buy in there at the 6276. Stops just running underneath that 6270 and see if I can run that up, right? That makes sense to me at the open. Delta's positive. You have got some sellers trapped there. So a move down to this region at the open, I think that's very reasonable and looking for a move up, right? So against the VWAP.
Potentially one to be wary of on geopolitics. UK Foreign Minister Lammy says we have to have a ceasefire in Gaza in the coming weeks. If the intolerable situation continues, and the UK government will go further in taking measures against Israel.
Right, so 62675. So I like that at the open. Now let's see if we get sellers up there. It's fine, but what I can see is those sellers got trapped by these buyers. So a dip down to there does make sense, and just to see if I can get a little bounce at the open. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you for your patience this morning, everybody. Only slight difficulty is you can see we're up at that value area high as well from the TPO. So we're kind of in the value area high from yesterday. So we haven't got clear direction yet. It's not like we're pushing higher, and we have got that here. We've got that rejection of that level, but we're finding some support. So it's kind of two-way price action here. Okay, it's got that point of control is there. Right, so do you get buyers coming in down here, or do the sellers keep going? We are negative. Is this giving you flagman vibes? Is this got the flagman excited? That's what I want to know. Right, drop, pull back, buyers getting trapped on a flag. Does, doesn't it? Then that would be back into this region. Let's see what we could get. Yeah, I'm gonna take that as a sell. We've got the delta negative, right? You have got those sellers trapped here, so it is a bit, you know, two-way, but I'm happy to give this a go to see if I can get some sellers come in on this. The only downside with this one is you're into that value area low. If it goes up through there, the thing's invalidated, so we'll see. Tricky one. That's the bit that's not nice about it. You're going right into that value area low. You're going into an obvious support, so it's just not the best area to be shorting from. That's it. Okay, I'm out of that. Yeah, that was quick, wasn't it? It's a kind of area, you know, looking like that was not a great trade really, because you're going into that value area low. It's a kind of rough area we're looking for buying. And you got, you know, it's the wrong area for looking for longs really. That was for shorts. Okay, so here we go. Let's just resettle. Wait for the next opportunity.